How
Yeah.
important are business relationships?
You know, when we talk about business relationships, we're talking about relationships that will impact your business, right? Things where you make connections with other people in the business format. And it doesn't only have to be other business owners. It can be people that are commentating on your niche, you know, like people that write articles on like certain categories. It could be people that like are from the media. It could be your own customers. But business relationships are one of the most important factors of business. And the reason is because just like, you know, you have a reputation in the schoolyard, you have a reputation in the business world, right? And word of mouth is one of the most fastest traveling reputational like avenues ever, right? People are going to talk if you're not good in your business relationships. And the number one problem I see with people doing like having business relationships is that they're constantly thinking, how can it benefit me? What does this person bring to the table? But they're forgetting what do they bring to the table and what can they provide them, right? And if all your business relationships are one-sided, no one's going to be helping you out. And let me give an example. Like in the trading industry, right? People always do jobs for each other, right? Always. Obviously they all get paid, like it's not like freebies, but at the same time, like there's heaps of work to go around. Everyone has food to eat on the table, but there's always people that don't eat, and you always wonder like, well, how are they not getting those jobs? It's because they haven't formed the correct business relationships. I'll have to say every single niche is different in terms of how important business relationships is, but overall, if you're constantly taking and taking and taking and taking from other people and never giving and never providing the value that you're actually receiving, you're going to be known as the one-way business owner, and no one's going to want to do business with you, right? Whereas if you're constantly giving out value, not always thinking about, you know, how much you're going to get back out of it, then everyone's going to know you as the person that genuinely cares for other business owner, genuinely cares about their relationships. And it also comes down to understanding what that relationships contains, right? Like it's like when you mix friendship with business, right? It's really important that you understand what's the good parts about that and what are the bad parts. And if you're not able to separate those, then you're going to have a business relationship that is not healthy for your business, right? And when we talk about healthy, we mean that it's encouraging, it's positive, it's uplifting. We don't mean that you can make money from it. Not every business relationship should be based off money. By the way, I don't have my timer on, so just tell me when. Not every business relationship should be based off money. I think business relationships should be founded on the morals and the principles that each business person has. Every single person that you have a relationship with, you guys should be upholding each other's morals, right? Because your relationship with them shows that you are upholding them as people. That's why brands leave influencers when the influencer does something wrong, because that's a relationship that's torn due to the reputation of that business and due to the influencer not wanting to be affiliated with that person. And that brings me to my next point. If you're not someone that people want to be in business relationships with, you're not going to get a lot of business relationships. Less business relationships, less connections. And as we said in our last episode, your network is your net worth, and I genuinely believe that. And when we're coming down to, you know, your reputation, we're not saying censor yourself so that you can make business relationships with everyone. We're saying uphold the most important morals and principles you have, and you will attract people that have the same thing. But if you're attracting different things and you're upholding really wrong morals and principles, then you're going to be attracting those types of people. And finally, all I want to say is that when you're doing this in business, how long do I have left?
Going, bro.
When you're doing this in business, like the number one thing that you have to constantly be thinking of is, how is this going to benefit my business in the long run, right? It's not always about like which business owner can get me this contract, which person can do this. Like I have lots of relationships with upcoming business owners who have no value to me whatsoever, but the value that I provide to them, I know will benefit me in the long term. But the thing is, like personally for me, when I first helped them out, it's like, I didn't know that they would turn out to be as big as they were, or I didn't know that they had these ideas in their head, but these relationships that I'm forming are going to benefit me in the long run. So it's not always about who's the big fucking kingpin at the start. The pawn players matter just as much, bro. Right? The pawns on the chessboard, they matter just as much as the king, because the pawns are always going to grow to be the king in chess, right? Always. The pawn can always take out the king. And so when you're thinking about it that way, you understand that there's longevity and there's things that you have to worry about that are not just right in front of you, but rather right there in front of you in the distance, you know? Right. And people lack these types of thoughts, right? And I think the main reason that people forget these types of thoughts is because they're so focused on the business relationship providing them money, right? What does this business do this? Why should we affiliate with them? Right. And as we come to the end of the timer, I just want to say, make sure you're constantly providing value in everything you do in business. It's not always about what you receive. It's about what you give.